So we did something really different this time. We went to Disney World for car nerds.
It's true. We went to the Gilmore Auto Museum in Hickory Corners, Michigan. Wow. I have never been there before.
Huge.
Chad had been there when he was young. It's incredible. I just have to say, if you haven't been there yet, get your tickets. Go.
Yeah, they had a media day there today, and thankfully we were invited. You know, since they wanted us there, we wanted to be there. And sure enough, they have electric cars from back in the 1800s. They have some of the weird stuff that happened in the 80s and 90s, like the cheese wedge, we call it, city car, electric car. They had a rare Ford Ranger from the 90s electric car that most people do not know exists.
Right.
But all of that and so much more. But one thing that really excited us, and by the way, this museum in Hickory Corners, which is by Kalamazoo, Michigan, for reference point, it's the largest auto museum in North America. And when it comes to attendance, it's second only to the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles, which is very famous for all kinds of wild and crazy prototypes and stuff like that. But it is just an amazing place. And one of the coolest things, though, is the Model T exhibits, where you can learn to drive a Model T.
It was an incredible experience. First of all, you can get up very close and personal with the Model Ts. Just if you go in for your regular admission without anything extra special, you can go to their Model T garage. You can go and see these vehicles that are running Model Ts. It's amazing.
Yeah, and they're not restored. They have a couple of those, but these ones that they teach you to drive are not restored 100-year-old cars. They're just 100-year-old cars.
Yep.
We were shocked at the dings and the dents and the smoke rolling out of the radiators and the oil all over the ground. And we talked to one of the instructors, and they said, "Yeah, that's what Model Ts do."
Yeah, they said
put
they
oil all
don't
over the
leak.
place."
They just mark their territory.
They just mark their territory.
That was the way they said it. But it's fantastic.
And it's not like driving a normal car, though. If you haven't driven a Model T, this exhibit is worth this thing is worth the visit, because it's we're not going to go into a lot of it, but there's 3 pedals and there's a handle, and then there's a spark, and then there's a throttle. Yes, your throttle is on your steering wheel, and
like the paddles.
The way the whole thing goes together,
it's different.
Is so complicated compared to just go, stop, go. In fact, they don't even have a stop. They have a maybe stop
We
button.
hope we stop when we push this.
But one of the people we talked to was one of the volunteer mechanics there. His name is John. Let's see what John had to say about these cars. So this is John from the Gilmore Car Museum. He's a mechanic. He works on Model Ts. Do you work on everything, John, or just Model Ts?
No, just Model Ts. I volunteer to work with them.
And how long have you been working on Model Ts?
Probably about 10 or 12 years.
10 or 12 years? Yes. So what was your background? Were you a mechanic in your previous life?
No, I worked in the paper industry for 45 years total.
And you said, forget that. I'd rather work on Model Ts from 100 years ago?
Yeah, I left the house one morning and told my wife I was going out to look for a pickup truck, and I came home with a Model T coupe. So, and I had taken the class, one of the first classes that was organized here many years ago, and I got hooked on that from that point on. And one of the principals here at the museum saw me and asked if I knew how to drive a Model T, and I said, well, sure. So from that point on, I became an instructor. And so I've been an instructor up until the last few years.
Okay. So instructor teaching other people how to work on them, or just drive them?
How to drive them.
How to drive them.
Right. Yeah. And it's really enjoyable. Everybody has a big smile on their face, no matter what the weather. And then I help Jim when I can with the mechanicals. Mainly because by osmosis, I want to be able to fix my own.
Yeah. I saw you earlier cranking on the front of a Model T, trying to get it started.
Yes, the battery.
What's that process like? None of our audience has ever done that.
Oh, well, you want to make sure that your thumb is on the same side of the crank as your fingers are. If not, if it backfires, it will rip your thumb off.
Oh, good to know.
So any crank starting engine would be the same. And you just get the compression to a certain point and just pull about a quarter turn is all you need to get it started. It may take several times, but a quarter turn is all you do. You don't have to go round and around.
Okay.
You just have to get the vaporization of the carburetor and the spark advance proper, and it'll start.
Now, are they finicky cars, John? Do you have to always be tinkering with these things?
Everyone is finicky, so you have to learn the personality of each car.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. They may have all come off the assembly line the same, but a few months later, they're all different.
Okay, gotcha. And what about some of the Model Ts that have attachments? Like you can put skis on the front or tracks on the back?
Yes, we have one here that Jim put together, and it's a monstrosity.
Oh,
But yeah, they use them for everything. You take the wheels off and run saw blades from them, so they make sawmills out of them. Use them as auxiliary power sources for farming, running implements and such.
it's a versatile vehicle.
Yeah, and then they would tear them down when as they got older and actually use them as tractors, pulling implements in the field. So they had a lot of versatility.
I don't think my BMW would do that.
No, it's probably going to be a little tough.
Thanks for talking to me, John.
Certainly.
Thank you. So as you can, talking to John, it's like these cars are finicky. Each one has their own personality. They're incredibly versatile vehicles, which we're amazed by that. We think more automakers should be versatile, like the Model T. That can be a snowmobile, a car, a truck, a tractor, a sawmill, whatever you need it to be.
It's almost a modular format because they just could do so much with these. And I'm just blown away by the fact that these motors are 100 years old and they're still running. I mean, they're being maintained and they're still running. So I'm not sure what happened because we don't have any cars today.
Gotta
Now,
do that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just amazing to me.
Yeah.
If you want to drive a Model T, go to the Gilmore Museum, look up online and sign up for their Model T driving experience. It's a class you get to go through. They will teach you about how to drive. They will teach you about the Model T. When we were invited to experience the Model T experience, it said you'll get to drive a mile-long lane. And I'm thinking, there's no way they're going to let me drive a Model T down a lane. So I'm thinking, it must be like you get into the body of a Model T and it has screens all around and you putt and feel like you're driving. That's not it. You actually drive the Model T down the road. Not like a public road, but the museum is so huge and has so many acres. They have dedicated land for a trail for you to drive your Model T. It is so worthwhile. It raises funds to help support the Gilmore Auto Museum so that they can get more exhibits and do more things and be able to preserve the history of the automobile, because it's so fascinating to see where we started with vehicles and where we're going with vehicles and everything in between. It's amazing.
So one of the instructors' name was Paul, and Paul was kind enough to talk us through the process on camera. I will have to say the audio is terrible because we're sitting in a Model T.
They're very loud.
Which sounds like something like that. So do your best to make out what Paul is saying, and I think you'll see that driving a Model T is not like anything else.
Right.
Take it away, Paul.
There is a little silver button down there. It's called the starter button. That's what made the cranking noise. And to get it started, this is your fuel. If I go up, it slows the engine down. Go faster. This here is the timing. If you put it all the way down, you retard it. If you come all the way up, you advance it. As it warms up, you keep on dropping it until it feels like it wants to go. Now to make it go, here's a handbrake. And it's on the brake position right now. I will move this to a vertical up, and I will take the clutch, which is this pedal here, whoop, this pedal here, that's a clutch, and I will push it forward, and we'll be in low gear as we move. Once I get out on the racetrack, I will put it in high gear. And to put it in high gear, I take this handbrake, which is now in this position, and I pull it all the way forward. And I let go of the clutch, and we'll be in high gear. Alright? To stop, this is a maybe brake.
The maybe brake?
Maybe brake. It may stop us, it may not.
Okay.
This middle pedal is the reverse. If I have to back up, I use that pedal to reverse. Okay? Anything else changes, or I have to explain everything else, I'll do it as we drive.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul, thank you so much for giving us our exclusive and personal tour in the Model T. The way that things happened that particular day, we were supposed to drive it in the afternoon, but the weather turned very bad, and these 100-year-old cars, we want them to last down to
Well,
the
they're made out
future.
of wood.
Well, yeah,
So they could
had
swell.
to be put away. But in order to make sure that we got some of the experience, Paul was so kind. He said, jump in and I'll take you down the lane so you can see what it's like. When you sign up for the driving experience, you will get the instructions that Paul just gave us. You'll be able to hear them because you'll be right there with them.
And you'll be in the driver's seat.
And you'll be in the driver's seat, and they'll show you how to do it. You'll have a trained instructor with you, so it's going to be safe, but you'll get to drive down that lane like we got to have a personal tour. So again, thank you, Paul. You were wonderful to talk to. You know so much about the Model T, and we learned so much and had such a great time.
Yeah, it's a great place. We could have spent 2 days there.
Oh, easy.
Pretty easy. As it was, I think we were there from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We had a guided tour. They bought us lunch. Of course, the Model T experience. There's no way we can spend enough time on camera telling you what is there.
Right.
Because we'll be 10 years older by the time we're done, and we won't be this pretty.
Right. But I do want to say another thing that they have there, and this comes with your admission, then you can just do this when you go in. They have classic cars with chauffeurs that will drive you around the grounds because it's a huge space. And you want to see all of it. They have a vintage Shell station that's set up exactly
Vintage
like
Cadillac dealership.
a Ford dealership that looks just like a Ford dealership would have looked at. And they have different barns. They have a horseless carriage barn with some of the earliest iterations of vehicles. Some of them are literally a carriage body with a motor.
It's really several museums in one. And we got the kind of the back lot tour where we went through the barns where cars are just being stored. And there is stuff that's just being stored, waiting to be displayed at different times because they mix it up. That's so incredible. I mean, these are the most beautiful vehicles, we've ever seen, including, like as I mentioned earlier, the Stanley steamer car, which is so fast, up to 120 mile an hour is what they got it to.
Yep.
But the driver don't dare to go faster because you don't want to fall apart. The wheels are like that big, and it's just wasn't built to go that fast. But steam power is amazing. It's instant torque.
It is. And when you're walking through, check out some of the details of the timing. Like one thing that I learned on our VIP tour was some of the tires have no tread at all, just a smooth little strip of rubber.
That's how they started.
And then they started etching X's in them. So some of them had X's, so they'd be a little more stable. And then they started getting to more
Well, they got the ones that
modern-
actually spell the words non-slip, non-skid, non-skid,
So watch for those little
for that.
details as you're walking through the barns and you're looking at all of these different things. It is amazing what you will see, and you will never get bored. If you've been there before, go again, because like Chad said, they change out some of the different displays. Some of it was featured at the auto show recently in Grand Rapids, so you might have seen just a taste of what the Gilmore has to offer.
You can get frozen custard there.
You can get frozen custard there. Also, they have a set from Disney. When we said we went to the Disney World for cars, we weren't kidding. Walt Disney is actually
He
involved.
donated a Rolls Royce and a movie set.
Yeah, which is
Him personally, not the theater.
Yeah,
not the
and
company.
the movie set is a giant-sized duplicate of the interior of the
From
Rolls
the
Royce
movie,
for shooting.
what was the name of the movie?
The Gnome-mobile.
Gnome-mobile.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so it was fascinating.
But that is our trip to the Gilmore
Yes.
Gilmore Auto Museum.
Mhm.
$20 a person, by the way, which is
for
money well
adults.
spent.
Mhm. Yes, very
you.
much so.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for the members of the channel that keep the wheels churning on the Positively Charged EV channel. Thank you, Tom Bushaw for the coffee. Thank you, Bob Newchow for the coffee.
Yes.
You guys rock. Thank you to the Mug
do.
Club members. You're amazing.
And thank you to the Gilmore Auto Museum for inviting us for such a special experience. And we hope you get to go and enjoy similar experiences because it's well worth it.
So well spent $20
Well
is what it
spent.
would cost you. Of course, we got it free, but
Well,
all right, that's it. Another video right here.